going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska here with DJ, Akademiks, and Wayno. Look, Ak is back from his very first sick day. Of all time, did 6ix9ine bring you chicken soup? Are you feeling better?
I ain't gonna lie, man, the thigh flu hit me crazy yesterday, but, you know what I mean, I got that great immune system, man. I bounced back like in 6 hours, and I'm back here today.
My man eats oxtail for breakfast.
Yeah,
I don't think
that's a fact. That definitely did happen.
I thought you was bullshitting when you said that. Like, you really ate oxtails at like 10:30 in the morning.
Well, I showed y'all how to eat oxtails. He says as Jamaican, listen, when y'all think it's done as all bones,
he straight always think he's the only West Indian person on set. You gotta relax.
Okay, I forgot you be spearing fishes and climbing trees.
Yo, we gotta catch up since Ak wasn't here. So, of course, over the weekend, we got the new Kanye and Cudi album, Kids See Ghosts, 7 tracks, some dope features. Why do I keep saying futures? Features from
right underneath.
From Pusha T, Most Def, projected to sell up to 100K currently. Any standout tracks for you guys? Of course, a short project, not a long listen at all.
Let me look at this one.
We got the track list right here.
I gotta be honest with you, it's alright, but I expected a goddamn classic, and after listening to it, I don't believe it's a classic.
You expected a classic, cut it out.
Kanye and Cudi? Yeah, of course.
In the current state of Kanye, you expected a classic?
I expected a master, bro. Just off Cudi carrying though.
True.
Okay, and I know it seemed like y'all got some doubt about Kanye, like musical talent. He does say wild shit, and he's been on for many years. Okay, but I don't doubt that man's musical talent if he really wants to create great music.
Are you thinking freely right now?
Of course, you think I'm
only out of love.
Wait,
yeah, right.
Are we acting like Kanye washed or something?
No, I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying I wasn't expecting a classic, but what was lackluster for you then?
Hold on. Let's go back to just even expectations. Kanye and Cudi. Two of the, to me, the pillars of what music has evolved to. They have basically inspired a shit ton of these new niggas. Like, I would imagine that if they are collaborating on a project that you would imagine is not out of necessity, but it's something that they would want to do for passion or whatever else, it would be great. And I would imagine it would be a classic.
I'm not doubting Cudi. He's a legend. I love Cudi. No disrespect at all. But I maintain with the current state of Kanye, I wasn't expecting a masterpiece, although I wanted it to be a masterpiece. But Wayno, what did you think?
I was expecting something good, but I'm going to keep it 100. After Feel the Love is the first
You have your
song.
chicken soup before you...
What she said?
Did you get your chicken soup before you listen to this album, man? I gotta make sure you were in the best...
Listen, let me keep it a band. Let me keep it a band on this run, right? All right? So, after Pusha T's verse on Feel the Love, this shit is trash.
Ooh.
I'm keeping it 100.
Wayno with the hot take.
This shit is trash. Like, me personally, the whole Kanye, Cudi thing, I thought that...
Call someone trash.
I know, this is a moment.
I think it's trash, and I stand on that. And maybe it's really not for me. Now, I was asking people on Twitter, like, what they felt about the album, and a lot of people was like, well, if you're a Cudi fan, then you'll really love it. I love Cudi's first album. It's that Man on the Moon, right? Like, I love that shit. But
classic.
I feel it's a classic. But this, nah, not jagging this shit. I thought it was trash. Soon as Kanye started going, ga, 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 da, 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 I was like, nah, this shit, I can't fuck with it. This shit is not for me.
I'm not gonna lie, I heard it like in a cab on the way to the airport. I was a little buzzed. I heard it, I had to turn it off at first. But I put it back on. I love Cudi. I wouldn't say it's trash. I like a couple songs, but anyway, Ak, what don't you like about the project then? We heard Wayno's take.
Right.
Cut it out. Cut it out.
I'm shocked by this. Listen, man, I thought Wayno was gonna give us a 500-word essay right now about how it's lackluster. To hear him just direct straight to the point, this shit garbage, okay? Of course, he has the spirit of Pusha T verse, but of course, I understand
verse is
it.
hard.
Right now, Pusha, he's on a high. Still so mad he body drip, but it's all good. But fine, I get it. Hey, you know what? He ain't that wrong. No. But I'm not calling nothing trash with Kid Cudi. Maybe my brain hasn't mentally deciphered it yet.
So question, did you?
Okay, sonically,
all right.
Sonically, just hearing it without trying to maybe understand it more. And it's a lot of times, like with the artists I like, I replay it a lot of times, and sometimes it grows on me. When I listened to it, I was like, man, this ain't what I want, man.
I listened to this shit in the headphones on a 30-minute, the album's with like 20 minutes. Yeah. I listened to it on like a 15, 20-minute walk I had to take. I was like, okay.
Did you bang it in the whip?
I banged it in the whip. See, that's the test. I played this shit in the whip, and the whole time, after the gag shit, I was just like, nah, man, I just can't fuck with this shit. Like, I really feel like the Ghost Town Part 2 messes up Ghost Town for me now, because I really liked Ghost Town. I mean, I still like Ghost Town, but it's like I felt like it didn't need a Part 2.
Reborn's kind of cool. Did you not like that one either? No?
I don't like this shit, yo. I just don't like, I'm keeping it 100. I don't care what you say, Chops.
Chop, shut up.
I'm keeping it 100.
Garbage songs in the green room earlier and was calling all them fire. I was like, what's wrong with this guy, man?
Like, honestly, it just wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, because I was excited for it. But I don't care. Like, I think it's trash.
Hold on, though. Because you know what? We got a new host here, and we gotta figure out Wayno. All right?
Figure me out, brother.
And I think I got Wayno figured out.
I don't think so. That was a curveball just now. I don't think you figured it out at all.
That's why I haven't figured it out, because I just didn't know how he was gonna say that opinion. Because that's the thing. Like, I know what Wayno's about to think now. Like, him just coming out and saying it's trash, that's like, damn, out of bounds. Anyway, with Wayno's a nigga, like, I think you're more of a, you like lyricism, you like dope wordplay. You're a guy who really listens to what the person's saying. You get me? Me with Kanye and me appreciating his musical talent at this point, especially post My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I just like the music. You get me?
No,
and a lot of times I realize he's either ain't saying shit or he ain't that clever. But you know what I mean? The music sometimes it just sounds good. And this time when I listen to this, I will always give Kanye West the pass for not having either deep subject matter or like some real shit he's talking about,
He always gets that pass.
Yeah, or for him not having dope lyricism. If he just gives me something that just sounds really good and like is really well put together, and this just felt aight. Okay.
Now,
and sometimes aight might be a cold word for trash.
Right. So Act. Now I get what you're saying, but I'm a very musical person. Like, some of my favorite albums come from NERD, right? Mm-hmm. My favorite Kanye album ever is Late Registration, and that's because of how musically it was built. Like, that shit sounds like a hip hop symphony, right? I love Late Registration.
But he was saying some shit on this.
Yeah, and he was saying shit.
Yeah.
That's the mixture I like, because I can appreciate, with this newfound like understanding of where hip hop is going, I can appreciate just good sound as opposed to lyricism, because everything hasn't always been lyricism. It's a lot of artists that weren't lyrically capable as others, but they made good songs. Now, when it comes to this shit, when we hear Kanye do a project, he's only done a project with one person, right? With Hov.
Full joint project?
Joint project. He's only done a project with Hov, right? So I'm not expecting it to be that, because we don't have Hov and a Cudi, but I'm expecting it to be a little bit of a higher level. And maybe I'm just not at where they at musically with my ear.
Yeah.
When I listen to this shit, and I always felt like Kanye got away with whack lines. He's gotten away with whack, and he's done a lot of classic shit, but he's always gotten away with whack lines since the beginning of his career. This is the least lyrical he's ever been, right? Production-wise, it sounds it's not hip hop specifically, but I can't jack this shit, yo. I can't sit here and lie and be like, because the way they started this shit out with a Pusha T verse. That song is hard. I like Feel Love, but as soon as he got to that, all that, it's like you driving and just like swerve. And after I swerved, I couldn't control the car, so I'm gonna just leave it over there.
Man, Kanye, man, you gotta send this nigga a couple pair of Yeezys.
I got enough of them on my own.
And invite this nigga to Wyoming or something, man. Pray for him, man, because I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you kind of called it straight on that. Again, I'm gonna still give him the benefit of the doubt, just because I only listened to the project about twice in full length, and it's really short. But I have, with Cudi, like sometimes Cudi has different sounds or like different, like music's a little different, that I really get into it. Like as time goes on. So I'm not gonna jump out and say trash yet, but I'm not gonna lie, my current feeling is that if it don't start growing on me soon, man, I'm gonna have to toss this whole thing in the garbage.
All right, like I even love The Wizard. Remember Cudi's Wizard album?
Yeah.
I really loved the Wizard album. Yeah, you don't know about the Wizard album?
No, I said, did you like it?
Yeah, I love the Wizard album, because it wasn't, Cudi's always been different. I mean, it was at one point in time it was him, Drake, and Wale.
Right.
As the next, like.
That seemed like a lifetime ago.
It seems like a lifetime ago.
Considering where like Indica and all those projects went after that, it's amazing.
Exactly. And now, and another one of my favorite Cudi songs of all time is the shit with him and Too Short, Girls. That's one of my favorite joints. Now, I don't know where he's been, what he's been going through, but this shit just sounds like, maybe they're thinking freely. I don't know.
Yo, I'll take a Cudi album.
I'll take
like
a Cudi album.
Solo album. I would
didn't
be really
need this
excited
shit.
for that.
Well, honestly though, and I think, you see, fans they want another sequel to like of Man on the Moon, and obviously when he went on this experimental phase, like fans are unsatisfied and they're like, this is a disappointment. But I always say, yo, like, could an artist really go back to recreate?
can't.
You know what I mean? You usually move
that
forward.
moment in time.
I can't jump as high as I used to.
Yeah, so that's I'm gonna cross you up, nigga.
Oh, you better relax.
What you mean?
But go ahead, finish.
But anyway, I do believe this is, we could think of the best of Cudi, but I don't know if he could go back on some Man on the Moon shit and recreate those type of feelings. Like, those albums are fucking classic.
I don't even know why you would look to him to recreate. I think
Because
that's just unfair.
That's what
you know
fans.
what I mean?
That's what fans.
But that's one of those
been
albums
waiting
that
for.
lives in time where, like, when I hear the songs, I can remember vividly where I was. It's one of those. Like,
Right.
I don't need him to try to duplicate that song.
Right.
He can keep moving forward.
And I would have rather a Kanye fully produced Cudi album, because I feel like Kanye brings a lot of it down. Like at every moment, well, I'm not gonna say every moment, but a lot of I've listened to it about 10 times.
Y'all not rocking with Kanye, period. Man.
No, I'm rocking. Don't say that, because I am rocking with Kanye.
In terms of his music right now, like,
I'm
just saying it's kind of low quality.
Well, I can't even say that, because I felt a lot of people think I'm crazy for saying the last 4 songs on Ye are amazing. People was like, you really like that shit? That whole shit is trash. I'm like, nah, to me, the last 4 songs is better than a lot of shit that's come out in the past couple years. And that's how good his music is. Now, maybe they hear some shit that I don't, but when I listen to the shit, it's not for me, and I think it's trash. And I'm basing that off of how they started it. They started it with a certain type of energy, and then it just went left, and it never came back for me. You know?
All right. Unexpected review of this project. Well, Ak is the most surprised, I think.
I'm more surprised he just called it trash. Listen, man, you know how let down Wayno was when he hears a Pusha T verse to start the fucking album, and then all of a sudden Kanye West is going on a fucking rant mid-song? Get this out of here, man. Cut it off. I could imagine,
so
bro.
unpleasant, but I'm sure some people out there enjoy that. Can we say that Daytona has been the best good music?
Daytona
so
has
far?
been the best.
Unanimously.
Yes, it's been the best out of the project. And we got Nas coming Friday.
What about that designer project? You wasn't feeling that?
Come on,
Such
man.
an asshole.
Don't do that to designer.
No, I'm saying.
Don't do that to that brother, please. Like, don't do that. Cause you trolling right now.
I'm not sure. I'm asking. I'm like, yo,
like, I'm
are we
gonna
gonna
take
act
it
like that
serious?
wasn't up there? That was one of those.
Up there? No, you're not gonna bait me with this
Designer wasn't in his bag, bro.
one.
Who's your favorite song on the designer?
He don't
Price
know.
tag.
He only know one
Bruh.
song.
All right, Ak, let's move on to the
Right.
next topic.
A rapper named Designer making a hit song called Price Tag? Man, come on, man. That's
Stop it.
God's
But I'll
plan.
tell you
That's
what
God's plan.
I think
I'm
what's
sorry.
gonna be the most surprising out of all of these is Tiana's project. Because people don't know how talented Tiana is. They view her as this creative and this dancer, and they don't know that she's very musically talented.
I agree
And
with
that's
that.
my homie from Harlem.
Nas
Shouts out to
and
T.
Tiana, looking for both
agree
of
with
them.
that.
All right, so look, it finally happened. Lil Wayne has reached a settlement with Cash Money. This happened last week. Remember, he initially filed a suit against the label and Birdman back in 2015 for $51 million. It's held up his album release. So his lawyer, Ron Sweeney, confirmed in a statement that things were resolved. He said, I can say that my client is happy. He is his own man, a man that owns his asset, his music, and himself. At some point, Wayne will let fans know what's going to happen next. Now, according to The Blast, they settled for at least or around $10 million. Karen Civil confirmed that they did settle, but said that number being disclosed was false. So we don't know how much the settlement was. Birdman and Wayne spotted in the studio over the weekend, so it seems like they're good. Are you guys surprised this even got resolved? Honestly, it felt like this could drag on for a decade.
Hey, I did make a prediction that I thought that Wayne was going to put out an album around next summer.
You did.
Which means the issues he has with Cash Money had to be resolved before then. And I think it kind of sets it up for that. I don't know if necessarily Carter 3 will drop this year.
Carter 5.
But, oh, not
Right.
Carter, yeah. We're about to talk about Carter 3. Sorry.
You already nervous?
Yeah. Carter, but Carter 5, it's setting it up for that. I mean, I'm not surprised that it got resolved. But I'm surprised. Well, not really. I'm not surprised by any of this, yo. The only part I really want to discuss is that Birdman ain't paid shit. Like UMG paid it. Like if I'm reading the reports right, and the report from the Blast is that it's at least 8 figures, right? Which means it's over 10 million. But he wanted 51, so we don't know if he got 25 or 40 or just 15. But Birdman just finessed his way out of this. Like getting somebody else to pay your debt while you stalled it out and you're still in the studio with your son and he's happy. I guess he got his money. He's now on UMG, not on Cash Money. It works for both of them. If I'm Wayne, and again, I think that's why they have such a complex relationship. Even after shit is resolved, like how do y'all still work stuff like that out and still be in a studio together? Like how could you even really want to deal with that person? I don't know. And I think we will see later on, but hopefully my man Wayne over here got some inside information because I ain't gonna lie. Lil Wayne was claiming Rock Nation for like a good part of the time when he was on hiatus, and I was expecting him to come out like, you know, them little college recruits, those little high school recruits, and put on a hat saying, I'm Rock Nation, baby. So I want to see how that fits into it. And also, we probably will hear now, or I hope, through Wayne or maybe some book he writes about the whole process and shit he was going through, because we didn't hear a lot. Like maybe how Jay helped him and maybe some other people who helped him really get to this point.
Right.
But overall, Carter 5, I'm now looking at the fans who've been saying they want the music, they want the music. If Carter 5 had dropped in it was supposed to come out in, was it 2012?
A long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time, right?
Yeah.
2015.
Right.
Was it 2015? I feel like it was earlier. But
It felt like every year since his last album.
Exactly. But if it had came out back then, I thought that the anticipation was so crazy for it. And now I look around and I see people, they still love Wayne, but I'm like, are they fiending for this project, or are they like, yeah, if it comes, it comes. Or when it does come, we might care, but we don't.
But I believe one of you also made a good point that it matters if it's the album he recorded however long ago, or if he goes back and updates it, because music changes so quickly.
So with this whole shit, and you were saying about like them moving forward, I think that the love that they have for each other supersedes any dollar amount. I mean, like, Baby Birdman, he invested in Wayne when he was very, very young. And he invested in all the Cash Money very, very young. Wayne was the one that really stood the test of time. Wayne became an icon. I think that might have went into like resolving a lot of the issues, because ultimately, nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants no bullshit to happen. I'm happy that they finally got this shit resolved, because it was looking like it was never gonna happen, right? So I don't know what the dollar amount is. Just the fact that they came to some sort of agreement says a lot about both of them as men. Even if he got somebody else to pay it, I think that that's really ill that he got this shit done. Because like I said before, I think that when they started out, they were handling a lot of business, and it's a lot of shit that they didn't know. And sometimes when you may not know something, another person could deem it as you're being shady. And I don't know exactly what what their conflict was, but maybe I'm giving Birdman the benefit of the doubt that he might have not knew a lot of the things that he was getting into, maybe on the royalty side. Like, I learn new shit in music every single day. So they was making so much money so fast. But as far as with Carter 5, I don't know what it's gonna be. My anticipation for it is just that I want Wayne to be able to handle this adversity in a good way where he comes out on top. Nothing's better than seeing Wayne happy.
Exactly.
Like, as us as fans,
it's like
a kid. Like, we haven't seen him happy in a long time, and like he did Summer Jam. You know, that's the first time we actually seen him do a full-length like set in a long time. He just looks happy. That's the most important thing about it, you know.
Plus, Drake and Nicki are dropping this summer, so if Wayne comes with an album, this could be a Young Money summer. That would be a good look for the whole team.
Well, that's another interesting part about this whole thing. Wayne is off of Cash Money. He's only on UMG. Young Money,
it's still Cash Money.
Yeah, Young Money, which is a imprint off Cash Money, was split with Wayne owning half and Birdman owning half, right? So, like, if everything is, like, kind of dissolved, like, is Young Money still on Cash Money, or does that move directly to UMG, where Wayne maybe owns the whole, like, it's weird to see what's going to happen. Of course, like, we know Drake and Nicki, they have both like kind of stood very neutral to say, hey, we support both sides. Like, Wayne need to get paid, and
they need a clearance from both of them to get that check. That's
and also, ironically enough, that's what I'm saying. When we look at stuff through the media, we make a lot of assumptions. As you know, I mean, you could imagine fans or whoever who pays attention to culture would. But Birdman was right? He said, listen, Wayne, Carter 5 coming soon. He said that's the last thing he do, and he's going to resolve his issues. And niggas was like, yo, yeah, we heard that all along. And it happened, right? So he did follow through with his part on that. And shit, Drake rapped about Universal should pay Wayne, right? Because he rapped about in the Family Feud joint. Right. Universal should pay Wayne. And I remember I even said, like, bro, Birdman should pay it. Turns out Universal did pay it. So maybe there's some other things that's going on that obviously they know we don't know. Right. Again, I'm hoping we hear more. But in terms of just music, I look at Wayne and I do believe that at this point he's kind of like he's like one of the grandfather goats, right? Where like you'll always fuck with him because he has had such a tremendous catalog, such a great run in hip hop. But I also look at it again and I look to say, could Wayne heat the streets back up like he did from 2000? What was his run? It was like 2007 to 2011. That was a tremendous run.
It was insane.
And we never really see artists be able to duplicate a run like that. But could Wayne get to any, like really get like a second leg?
Well, you got to
get career?
He has to get a new win. I mean, like he has to find a new win. I mean, we've seen like Jay-Z didn't go through all of the like legal shit that Wayne went through, but it's times where he fell back and music adjusted every time. One thing I could say about Wayne is that, like you said, he is a grandfather of this shit. I think that the game is gonna welcome him right back. As long as he stays true to who we know him for, which is making fun, outlandish punchlines, making dope club anthems mixed with having shit for the streets. As long as he stays there, he's gonna be good. Another person I was right about all this shit was 50 Cent.
He told us to stay out of it, mind your business, because they're gonna make up. He's right.
Mind your business,
right.
Because when they do make up with each other, they're not gonna be as forgiving for what you said as they were to each other. Right. So look for them to cut a lot of people off. Like that's what I look. Another question is, was Little Twist part of this momentum?
Yo, today's Tuesday? Isn't there another Lil Twist diss track out? Chops, what's good?
All right.
Yeah, I heard
Push It Diss number 2, right? Is it dropping tonight? Tomorrow?
Hey, pull like this. I don't care. Listen, I don't care what y'all say. Y'all could attribute it to Jay Prince, but I felt like this beef really got squashed with Drake and Pusha when that nigga Lil Twist said, "The music need to chill, man, before shit really get real." Everything squashed, but. Back to the matter at hand, man.
Said y'all want beef?
Back to the matter at hand. I really want to see how Wayne plays this.
Yeah,
I like when people come from these periods in their life or career where they're facing adversity. We see with Meek, we see when Boosie came out of jail. I know I'm equating it to a lot of people who were in jail, and you could kind of think it was kind of like he was in prison.
He was in prison though. Remember?
Putting out music. Now he could release music at his own pace. By the way, I think he should learn, being now a guy who's 15-plus year veteran in the game.
20.
Yeah, exactly. You should never, ever be in this position again where you're deferring to anyone else. Like, you're supposed to be a boss. You get me? And I remember when I first heard Pusha even diss him on the Exodus joint, that's what I kind of took from it. Like, bro, you've been in this too long. You need to be a boss. Like, you need to be controlling your own destiny. And again, we understand he was in a contract that was probably just renewing itself over and over that he signed at a very young age. But this is probably the first time where he should have the authority to do what he wants and control and dictate how he wants his career to move in. I'm just looking to see if he could just take over the streets again, man. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, yo. Those couple of summers when that nigga was running shit, man, everybody knew every verse or whatever. And again, that might be unrealistic to expect, but Wayne is one of the greatest ever, and I do think his legacy, when we look back at everything, will be defined as how he also handled this period.
Right.
Like, he's already one of the GOATs. Yeah. But, like, if he comes back and still has that chip on his shoulder to prove, because he don't really have to have it. Like, he's done everything he do.
He don't say I got to sell a record again in his life, but like Wayne has survived everything. Like, I mean, he survived. He was one of the first.
He survived a TMZ story, man. It's TMZ
no, for real. But I mean, even to drug abuse, you know what I mean, and checking himself into rehab. Like, he survived a whole lot, and I think that, you know, he has had a 20-year career, and he's only 35 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's been in for over 20 years, because I think he started when he was like 11 or 12. I want to see the biopic. Like, get us the biopic.
And I hope they make a good one. Don't fuck that up.
Yeah, you can't fuck that. That might be one of the greatest biopics ever.
They have to do that one justice. All right, look, coincidentally, it happens to be the 10-year anniversary of my favorite Wayne album, Carter 3. So previously, Akademiks says that this is not a classic album. Before we revisit...
This is a setup to try to get me roasted. It's still
No, I'm not, because surprisingly, Wayno might have a similar take as you on this.
Yes.
Classic or not?
Okay, so I got to approach this one the right way, right? Carter 3 is not my favorite album from Wayne. Carter 2 is my favorite album from Wayne.
I knew you would say this shit.
Wait.
Yo, he's always trying to predict.
Fuck out of here.
No, but it's more lyrical.
I mean,
of course. I think I love lyrical shit.
It is more lyrical, but Carter 3, I don't feel like it's a classic album, but it's a classic moment in time. It's a classic hip-hop moment. I think when you think of just the whole Carter series, specifically 3 is like the most pivotal one. Even though 2 is my favorite, 3 is the one where you really understood who Wayne was in the game, right? Now,
and also his work leading up to it.
His work leading up to it, because Dedication 2 is fucking one of the greatest mixtapes of all time, right? Now, when it comes to Carter 3, I felt like because it wasn't as lyrical as Carter 2, for me, that's why I don't.
For you personally,
get straight to it, man.
I'm getting straight to it.
He just got excited because he thought you were helping him out.
No, he is. He is.
No,
like,
but look, I'll say this, right? Because at one point in time, the biggest system of rating albums was the Source, right? If this was rated on the Source system, I would give it 4.5 mics. I wouldn't give it 5.
That's
I give it
still
4.5.
pretty great.
It's a great
classic.
It's a great album, but 5 classifies as a classic. So I felt like,
why isn't it a classic? I think that's the better thing.
I felt like he dumbed it down a bit lyrically, and I felt like all right, I'm gonna tell you why I feel like it's not a classic, because I felt like if he would have been rapping at the same magnitude of pace that he was on Carter 2, then a lot of the kids that grew up now to see what they are today, when he started dumbing it down, they wouldn't have been dumbing down their records.
Whoa.
So it really changed the trajectory of hip-hop, for real, because he was rapping so much on Dedication 2, Carter 1, Carter 2. When it came to Carter 3, he rapped, but he didn't have the same ability. I think he dumbed down his ability to make bigger records.
Okay.
That's why I felt like it wasn't a classic.
So just to get your point fully clear.
Yes.
Without comparing it to Carter 2, because again, a lot of times we do compare artists, like their previous works to their current work. Just take Carter 3 in a vacuum. If somebody else put that out, would it be a classic?
Wait. Take Carter. Wait.
So you're not comparing it.
Don't compare to Carter 2.
Just imagine Carter 2 never happened, which is hard to do. In a vacuum. Because you did say it was a classic moment, right?
It's
but
a
you said
classic
to
moment.
you personally, it's not classic. I think that's the hard thing.
That was the first.
Classic in general, or to you personally?
Okay, so this was the first album since, I think it was the Massacre that sold 1 million in a week, because it is the first album since the Massacre that sold 1 million in a week, and this was 2008. Massacre was 2005.
The songs were so big you couldn't
go
anywhere without hearing it. It's the only thing we listened to that summer. I think there's some great lyrical songs.
And there was a lot of songs that, as I said, you gotta.
Like, okay.
All right, hold on, wait. I'm gonna help you out. Wait.
What's this shit? La.
This was my argument, and
right.
you could poke holes in my argument.
Okay.
A lot of people, they did not like it. I said that, listen, the momentum that Wayne had going up to Carter 3, essentially, as long as he delivered a good album, we're going to consider it classic. But it's really not a classic. It's not a standalone classic. We think about the Carter 3 based on the run and the momentum he had going up to it, and he was bodying shit. A lot of the great records he made did not even make Carter 3. I'm not discrediting the ones that did.
Yeah, because a lot of shit got leaked.
Yeah, a lot of that shit is dope that did make it.
Right.
But I look at it and when I think about what's a classic to me, a classic to me is almost an album with no skippables, just hard tracks after hard track. Exactly, and I look at it and there's a couple tracks I'm like,
It's not a couple.
You got a lot of skips on this?
Nah, I got 2 skips. And the only 2 skips I have is Lollipop, right?
But that was a huge single.
Right, it was, but we're talking in terms of what we feel a classic.
But it's a good sign if one of your skips was
Comfortable guy get out.
That and Lala, right?
Okay.
And wait a second, see.
About Phone Home.
Phone Home, Weezy. Phone Home.
I don't want to hear that bullshit, man.
I wasn't. Yeah, that's another one. Phone Home. So
ain't the same.
when we talk in terms of classic albums, not compare, because I don't compare all classic albums. But the thing about it is, you have to stack them next to each other, right? When I think of classic, in terms of classic albums, I think of course, Reasonable Doubt, like the obvious, like the Reasonable Doubts, Life After Death, Machiavelli, shit like that. I even felt The Love Below, taking apart what's his name's part, Speaker Box. Love Below, Andre 3000 himself is a classic. College Dropout.
So which Wayne album are you? Carter 2 is a classic, or are there no classics then?
I don't think he has any classics to me.
Carter 2 is a classic.
A classic?
It's a classic.
Start to finish?
It's a better body of work if we're talking on a lyrical perspective. To me, it's more cohesive.
Damn, you might be right on this. I can't.
Like, the thing with Carter 3, man, and I know I'm still gonna get killed for it. I just can't call it a classic, and I just feel like people get trapped in that time. If you said the right, I like how you said it. It's a classic moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, it has inspired many albums. And by the way, these things matter. Yeah, many artists. It matter in determining if an album is a classic. However, you also have to evaluate the album. You get me? And when I evaluate the album, I stop short of saying it's a classic. And what I remember last time when they were killing me for it, you know what I mean? Like, we live in extremes nowadays, and trust me, on my Instagram, it's usually very extreme.
The caption king.
Classic or trash. Right. And a lot of people.
There's a lot of in between. And
of course, that's what I'm saying. So when I said it wasn't classic, a lot of people were saying, wait, is he saying Carter 3 is trash? No.
Right, you're not saying it's trash.
It's trash. It's a pretty good album. But it's not, when I think about the classics, and I mean, I could even keep it in the 2000s. I thought Documentary was classic. Get Rich or Die Trying was classic.
Documentary being classic.
Documentary's not classic?
Documentary's not classic.
I thought Documentary and Doctor's Advocate was
Doctor's Advocate is way better than Documentary.
I thought
people are victims. People are victims to the moment on Documentary.
Stop.
I'm dead serious. People are victims to the moment on Doctor's Advocate. Doctor's Advocate is better than Documentary.
You're right. You're right.
Because
you're right.
It's a lot. Wait. 1 second.
Both of them could be classic.
Documentary had a lot of great production. Game's raps wasn't that dope to me. His raps wasn't that dope. It had a bunch of very great production value.
Okay. Wait.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So it's the same thing here.
Wait, let's not, because I don't want to lose track. Because I'm just saying because you brought up Documentary.
We're staying on the Documentary.
Okay.
But I would then give you back the same, like, it's an equation, right? So maybe his raps were better on the second album, but the songs were much better on the first album.
Listen, when it comes to classics is shit that you cannot live without, start to finish. Whether it's a radio record, whatever, because I'm not going to sit here and say because I like lyricism and I like lyrical ability that I don't like radio records. Right. I love nothing more than turning on a record at a cookout or whatever and having fun.
You don't want to hear Lollipop,
right,
man.
So I can live without Lollipop it's even a great moment, but I can live without Lala and I can live without Phone Home.
Wait, Lala?
Lala's a joint with David Banner.
I know. Wait, you could live without it?
I can live without Lala.
Fire.
So you don't even agree on the tracks you don't really fuck with.
One, I'm not saying that is the same shit that you said. Yeah. I'm not saying that it's not it's not good. I'm just saying that I can live without this shit. Okay. Now, every classic album that I revere as a classic, I can't live without anything not being on there.
Zero skips.
Well, actually, he has another song too called like La La La. That's better than this La La.
I remember that La La La,
truth,
right?
Truth. It just got leaked.
Yeah,
Everything
the look
got
on
leaked.
your face
Everything got leaked.
Yeah,
right.
You know what though? And that is part of me penalizing Wayne too. And even though I was trying to get him not to do it, I do use that against Wayne. Some of the songs that came out in the year and a half preceding to Carter 3, some of them were, in my opinion, better than a lot of these songs. And if you would grab all the best of those songs, 15 of those, you'd have gotten definitely a classic.
But then we might not be having, at the same time, we might not be having the same, because think about this, yo, I can't even front, right? Amelia is like, yo, like that's like one of the, imagine if streaming was around when that happened.
That would have been a monster.
You know what I'm saying? So even Mr. Carter.
Great song too.
Mr. Carter was so great because prior, Jay wasn't really fucking with him. Remember when Wayne came on the Double XL and said, I'm better than everybody and all of that shit?
I remember when he got on that verse, it's like, well, if he's Jordan,
my memory is too bad to remember a lot of this shit.
It was some freestyle they did.
But it's a lot. Taking away La La.
Yo, there's so many great songs
away
on here.
Home.
Yeah, Let the Beat
like I
Build
said,
is one of my
Let the
favorite
Beat
songs
Build,
of all
amazing.
time. Of all time, a flawless song.
Amazing.
Flawless.
You ain't got nothing, like I said before in the green room. Fab's best, one of Fab's greatest verses ever.
You're from New York.
I'm with 101
I skipped
niggas
that
with
record.
Dalmatian
I
Doggy
skipped that
Deep.
record.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm bugging.
skip it.
He said I'm with 101 niggas with Dalmatian Doggy Deep and fly with the tongue. So if you feeling froggy, leap. Kermit. Kermit.
I definitely skipped that record.
Yeah, you're bugging.
All right, I guess we gotta put
alright.
a pin because we could go on this forever. All right,
We're
so
going forever.
you guys agreed. You say it's not a classic. Carter 2 acts as a classic. Have you come around or still not?
I gotta come around to that
All right,
because it's
cool.
my favorite
Wait,
Wayne album ever.
So if I'm just listening to you, and they kill me,
Right.
Wayno is basically saying he's not even sure that Wayne has a classic.
No,
I gave Wayne a classic.
Look, I just agree
good
with him,
luck.
and he tried to fucking
No,
remix
no,
it like Diddy
wait.
just now.
No, he's just worried about you. He's
No,
just
no,
worried
no.
about
Are
you.
you saying
What,
that
Chops?
Carter 2? So you're saying
I'm agreeing with you. Like in retrospect, in that very moment, in that little quick moment,
I know what you're saying.
I feel like that you said that, I can agree with you on that. That I feel, because Carter 2 is my favorite album from Wayne ever.
now, and I think this is what Chops was trying to scream or like whisper in my ear.
Sexy.
Wayne definitely has about 8 classic mixtapes.
Okay. we got you for
100%.
days.
Absolutely. He got
Like
8 classic mixtapes. A lot of those mixtapes was just thrown together. A lot of them shits
well,
was
they still classic.
Well, see, dedication was focused.
Even the niggas, the leakers were putting out classic mixtapes by Wayne. That's what's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Like them.
Wayne, I mean, he has one of the greatest catalogs ever because he was another person who started the whole run on leaking shit on the internet. I mean, like, that was the start
I
of
don't think
it.
that was intentional.
It wasn't intentional. It
just-
definitely wasn't intentional, but I feel
Wayne
like
password was Weezy
a lot
F
of
baby. Like that's was his password.
a lot. That's crazy.
For real,
A
Weezy
lot
F
of
baby.
I know a lot of producers was pissed off because they was catching placements with Wayne and then not cashing in on those records.
Oh, damn.
And it was like hundreds of records that got leaked. But
Shit happens.
shit happens.
Look, happy anniversary, Wayne. We're looking forward to C5, hoping it comes before the year ends. And now, on to Tekashi. So 6ix9ine was denied entry to Hot 97's Summer Jam concert, which happened over the weekend. So following the incident, he hopped on Instagram, of course, called out Hot 97 on Ebro, saying that New York doesn't support New York. Let's take a look.
You could say, listen, this is the reason people don't like 6ix9ine. I understand that. But you can't deny the fact that you have a New York station, right? A New York concert, and everybody don't give a fuck about who was on that lineup. Shout out to everybody that was on that lineup. But everybody concerned was the rainbow-headed motherfucker on that stage. Nobody gave a fuck about nothing else.
Yo, he should really do public speaking.
Yo, I ain't gonna front,
eventually.
man.
It's all right. So eventually he did delete these, and to know, although he didn't perform or didn't get in, they did play his music at the concert.
I ain't gonna lie, if you listen to 6ix9ine, you'll probably end up believing him, but
Public
cut
speaking.
it out, bro. Like, yeah, what the fuck you mean nobody? Yo, it's Meek's first performance. I'm sorry, Meek is the biggest thing there. I'm
Right,
sorry.
absolutely.
I get it. You have a lot of hot records, but it's Meek Mill's first performance.
And Wayne was there. That was
Pulls
a
up,
big thing.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Wayne next. Like, it's Wayne. Are you kidding me? Now, if you say the only person from New York, okay, now we're talking.
I think
okay.
we're pulling a little bit too much from, like, that's the least thing I took serious out of what he said.
Oh no. Well, no, but you see when you speak like that to discredit the entire concert
Yeah, that was crazy.
with other artists on the bill, it makes it seem like you're the only life of the party.
But he's upset.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's twofold. It's twofold. Number one, I do believe from what I've seen, it felt like, and by the way, it looked like the person who runs that event, Ebro, looked like, number one, he allowed his feelings towards 6ix9ine and 6ix9ine antics dictate whether or not he would be at the concert.
Right.
Secondly, 6ix9ine, no matter what you're saying, you still look like the guy who was left outside the club screaming to get in, and you can't discredit their concert even if it wasn't, he had said it wasn't filled or nobody cared about whatever. You clearly went there hoping to get in, and you felt a certain type of way and you didn't get in. So if you didn't show up, maybe you could be like, yeah, y'all whack, but if you're at the gate like, yo, let me in?
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't gonna let me in? Oh, y'all whack. Nah, you can't do that.
Well, let me, a lot of people think, we've spoken about 6ix9ine, of course, a bunch of times here, and a lot of people think I may not like 6ix9ine, but I'm gonna keep it 100, he deserved to be on that stage. I feel like he deserved to be on that stage. I do understand somewhat. See, Ebro's cool. I don't really talk to Ebro much about, their things because that's their platform. And like I said before, even with the XXL shit, when it's somebody's platform, they make the rules. It's like living in someone's house. They make the rules. Now, one thing I will say about, with 6ix9ine, people, you have to second guess because of the things that follow his name, right? And when you have it kind of corroborates the whole XXL shit in a sense, because when you have all of these big name sponsors, like the Titles and whomever else sponsored the concert, you don't even want the chance. And that's why the word liability exists. You don't want the chance of some bullshit happening. But in terms of what 6ix9ine has accomplished in his small time that he's been professionally in the game, he deserved to be on that stage more than a lot of people that make it to the stage, even a festival stage.
Hold on. I would agree with you because, again, I even said, if I'm Hot 97, we've been rocking out at MetLife for a good while.
Yeah.
We ain't going to have none of y'all fuck this up, okay?
Absolutely.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
But then I do have to keep it fair. Casanova's there. And the most recent, beef that it looked like both people acknowledged was that Casanova may have had some issues with 6ix9ine, but that issue is squashed. And not only that, you allowed Casanova in the building. And also, it felt like, when explaining it, what I heard Ebro continually say is that he couldn't shut his mouth. Which kind of means, in a way, if he wasn't openly just defiant, yo, I'm going to be on stage, this, that, and third, yeah, we would have let him on, but now he's almost testing us, he runs our shit.
But at the same time, look, with Casanova, Casanova doesn't have bad relationships with the radio, right? And what I mean...
He's on Rock Nation.
Huh?
He's on Rock
He
Nation.
is on Rock Nation, but that's
Rock
not why
make everything all right.
But that's not why Casanova performed last year, on somebody's set. One thing about Cass is that his greatest ability is using his biggest downfall to his advantage, which is jail shit. And he will jail his way onto something. Jail dudes bogart their way into shit. Now,
6ix9ine tried to do that.
But so your note to him is that he could have approached this a different way. He has people who could have hit their people and solved this behind the scenes instead of pulling up and making a scene.
I feel like
is
it's
that
too...
where you...
Yeah, but my overall message to him is this, right? The angle that he spun it in, and he went live afterwards and he was talking some shit saying, yo, they're blackballing me out here, is that you don't play ball with the industry, right? Oh. And the industry, I'm sorry, it's about politicking and doing all this bullshit. And even though you don't want to do it,
growing up,
I don't do it either.
No, but you've come to understand it. I think.
But at times you have to engage in the discussion, or at least listen, if you care about certain things.
Right.
Not for everything,
right.
But you got to open lines of communication.
Absolutely.
Or else you should not be at Summer Jam expecting them to invite you there. You know what you should be doing? You should be having your own concert the same day and bring all your fans there. And matter of fact, you might prove a bigger point to say, hey, fuck the politics. Y'all need me so much, y'all have to bring me here. Well, that's how he could prove the bigger point. He got to start booking his own venues.
But at the same time,
these people not fucking with him.
He's not doing a whole Meadowlands arena. He's not doing that. Now,
but still, bring out 5,000-10,000 people.
Right, but this is why I feel like, and this is the shit that bit him in his ass in the end, right? Now, representation. I don't know who his representation is or any of that, but end of the day, we men. Now, even with Ebro, right? like I said, I'm not shy about me and him have a good cordial relationship. I feel like if 6ix9ine didn't do a lot of the shit that he does, he'd be a way bigger artist. He'd be a way bigger, he has the songs, he has the ability, but if he didn't have like the antics, this is the type of shit that holds him back. And I feel like, because Ebro could be like, fuck 6ix9ine, I don't care about him. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes to New York, there is a small point there that he made. Because whether he likes his music or not, the consumer fan base, like me personally, I wanted to go to Summer Jam to see if he was going to make it to the stage. Because I felt like if he would have did Gummo, that could have been one of the biggest moments of Summer Jam. Because nobody expects him to be on the joint. Now, I feel like they know that too. It has to be some sort of, like, you can't just take and not give. I feel like it has to be some sort of cordial relationship built where he's like, you know what? Listen, I'm going to tell you everything I don't like about what you do as a man. And you could say everything you don't like about us as a station. But we need you on this stage, and you need to be on this stage. Because it hasn't been an artist with records this big to not grace that stage.
And you make a good point, because at the end of the day, this industry is super funny, right? Like, look at Cole and Lil Pump. It doesn't matter. Relationships are not irreparable. So even if they both felt a way about each other, I think there was a way for them to solve that behind the scenes. But to your point, the more he aggravates them on social media, of course, they can be like...
I mean, to keep it 100, I don't know, this thing has disappeared. What the heck?
Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but we're back, and I think Wayno has a final thought on 6ix9ine to close us out.
Y'all know every time we say there's a technical difficulty, they're like, the show's canceled. The show's canceled.
So Act just walked out.
Show's canceled.
So Act just walked out like that. You know what I mean?
People just start crying. He must have left. Nah, but my last things on Tekashi, I just feel like I said before, I think that he's more than capable of being a bigger artist than what he is now, and he is like a big artist. If he just has some discipline to kind of mend the relationships, because if he wants to last in this game, I know he's jumped in quickly, he's made a ton of money fast, but if he wants to last in this game, like we talking about the Waynes and all of that, you gotta have the relationships, and you gotta repair them, you know, and it's a two-sided thing. I don't think that Tekashi just has to go in and bow down to what people say, but I think he needs to make his point and let others see his point as well, and come to some sort of medium, you know, because it's not helping it.
Hey, listen.
Tell Bay to be diplomatic, guy.
I don't know what you talking about, Bay. Bay was in the whip last night. Anyway.
No.
That's not 6ix9ine. Why y'all keep? You see, y'all got to.
Just now you said that wasn't
Anyway.
Right.
What I did want to say is that 6ix9ine also got to realize who's important in this game. You feel me? Like, he was very confident when he was saying, I'm going to be on stage. You know why? Because he went up to Hot 97, or he spoke with some Hot 97 mixed show DJs, and they're like, of course you're going to be there, and he's taking their word. Now, they're, like, no disrespect to those guys, but they're not the guys who's organizing Summer Jam. Yeah. You don't disrespect the boss and then talk to the worker and say, yo, you got me, and he's going to so Ebro's word did hold weight. And again, I think Ebro did it to prove a point, but also there's some valid other reasons to say, yo, you know what? We concerned under how you act, right? And to Wayno's point about a conversation happening, I agree conversations should happen, but there is a trade-off, and it's a cost of doing business for him. The reason why he's not doing many shows is kind of the reason why he's so hot. You're saying he could be a bigger artist if he didn't do certain things now, but that's how he got to be this point.
He could be this public, this guy who wants to be a bully and make noise, but behind the scenes, he doesn't always have to do that.
But play this.
He could do both.
Even be like his music is great and it's doing numbers and it's good, but if you look at like his career, people are super tuned in because they feel like they're watching a train wreck, and they're waiting for the train to get off the tracks or for it to crash. So it's one of those things where it's like when you're watching Floyd, like, somebody gonna knock this guy out, man. He talks too much shit, man. Like, it's eventually gonna end, right? So it's like you bring a bigger audience over time. Like, people are gonna keep watching until something happens. I would argue that if he only had the music, we wouldn't look at him near the caliber of artist that we think he is now. Yeah, but he dominates attention on a level with really just dominate the news cycle, to be honest. If we look at the records, if we just have a records talk, and I think he's done a good job of making the consumer aware that when he gets on the charts, but in terms of like real chart success, he's had 1 or 2 top 40 songs.
Right.
To put in perspective, like if we're talking about like Cardi B, who not only dominates the news cycle, but her records are really huge. Cardi B has like 3, 4 songs right now in the top 10.
Right.
Like 6-9 songs, they make the charts, but it's not like they're dominating. You get me?
I mean, but
so again, you got to put the music and how dominant the music is in perspective. We look at him as a bigger artist, such a big artist, but it's because we're thinking about how much you hear his name.
But the thing is that he can still, he's funny as shit, yo.
That only works for a short period of time.
Yeah, I think that he has a lot of personality. He has a lot of personality, which like that's a lot of the things that a lot of artists lack. They'll have great music and no personality.
They're too drugged out to even have a person.
Exactly. So he has a great. There's no way possible he gets high. Like he doesn't.
Boom,
he
right?
looks like he don't drink. He don't smoke nothing,
Yeah.
and he has all this personality. People want to see that. They waiting to see something bad happen to him. But my thing is you at a point now where you could kind of shift the focus and still have that personality, still talk shit in a way, but at least have a good relationship with people that's gonna benefit you. Because
Or at least New York radio, if you
at
want
least
that
New
look.
York, like it's your home, you know.
Yeah, you're right. There's that little fine line that he has to straddle. I will say though, if I was him, I would have shit on Hot 97, said fuck him, this is why radio is non-existent, but I would have not showed up to the concert, because when you show up to the concert, you look foolish. And we mentioned while we are having technical difficulties about him wearing makeup, because I asked him, because he came on my live stream, and I said, nigga, why do you have makeup on? And he said, listen, he said, I had it on because I knew the police was going to be out there. I wanted to make sure they didn't recognize it was me.
Wow.
That day.
He really wanted to be on, and
Nah, he didn't want to be on.
he wants to be.
Yo, he's a New Yorker, and you know what? Like
That's the pinnacle of successful in New York.
yeah, everything that I look at now, and I'm like, we're having a change of guards moment in a lot of senses. Like, yeah, the XXL list is very dope, but shit, there's other ways to validate your success. But for a New Yorker, a kid growing up, he want to be on that list.
Yeah.
You get me? I'm looking at like radio didn't make you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things that, like, to be honest, a festival would more make you these days, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
than Summer Jam. But like one of those other festivals, you know what I mean?
But they scared to book them. That's the thing. They're scared, you know.
But being a New Yorker, I could imagine.
Milestone.
I could imagine, yeah, like year after year, that's a big thing where everybody goes to Summer Jam and you want to be there. It's like, yo, I'm home. And also, you call yourself king of New York.
Yeah. Well, it's
you know what I mean?
unfortunate for both parties, right? It's been beneficial for Hot 97 and 6ix9ine. I hope they work this out, and maybe next year he can be there if he's still putting out music. We'll see.
Well, what if he does? He might end up doing Powerhouse.
True.
Right.
He's still got options. All right, before we go, we have one more.
I just want to see Min Charmin argue on stage. That's it.
Word. I could watch that all day. Yo, so boom, all right? Check it.
So boom.
We got one more for Wayno before we go. Lonzo Ball, since he had such an incredible season, is dropping music. This time he's dissing his own teammate, Kyle Kuzma, on a song called Kyle Kuzma. Let's listen.
B. Jones. Who are you without CO2? Just another dude with a bunch of tattoos. You ain't got no shoe, Nike wins, Cools lose, claiming that I can't shoot, but all these words is hitting you. Boy, you talking crazy, why you trying to play me? You ain't on my level, you ain't famous as my baby. I'm working out daily, but I ain't posting it, and I would never stop a workout just to post a pic.
You know you weren't feeling this. Yo, Wayno, when are we getting the little twist Lonzo Ball mix?
Bars!
Let me say something to the Everyday Struggle fans. These are my colleagues and my friends, and this is how they treat me. They know that I'm a struggling Laker fan, and yet they add topics
Lonzo Ball,
like Lonzo Ball.
He raps better than he play basketball. Come on, man.
He does not rap better than he plays basketball.
At this point, we gotta just call it, man. At this point, at least past like May, he's still rapping. You know what I mean?
At this
he's
point,
not playing ball.
This is the third Lonzo Ball topic that's come up since I've joined the show, and I understand that this shit is gonna keep going as long as he keeps rapping.
Facts.
So no thanks to you, Lonzo Ball, but I hate this.
Hey, let me just say this.
And
to Lonzo
he don't want to play. He don't want to play Kyle Kuzma one-on-one. Talk all that shit he want. You don't want to play Kyle Kuzma one-on-one.
Let me say this to Lonzo Ball. I like the little back and forth. It seems like they're always joking on each other.
All the
And this is fun. There's a lighthearted factor about this. Of course, if you're a Laker fan, you're probably going to be in your feelings because you're catching L's while niggas is rapping. I don't like to hear
LeBron, dog.
I don't like to hear that my, like, team if I'm rooting for a team, y'all shouldn't be doing shit other than practicing. So when I hear y'all rapping and we losing, that's a problem. But I will say that Lonzo Ball, if he converts his current plane and, of course, his team starts winning, he could be a superstar, and I don't think on a basketball court.
Wayno's soul dies every time you talk about basketball.
No.
Every time.
It's not even
Specifically Lonzo Ball.
No, it's
because
not even
every time
basketball.
we talk about basketball, it's about Lonzo Ball.
No, it's not even,
Blame chops,
It's not even.
honestly.
It's not even basketball. It's like, I think he just could be a superstar. I want the guy who's just like an entertainer. Like, he drops 40 and drops a track. That's lit. You know what I mean? He's doing it all. Triple-double, you know what I mean? On and off the court. You feel me? I like that. But
sure?
it only matters. It only matters, as I told you, if you're not doing good at your day job, we don't want to see you show for the night shift, nigga.
Okay.
You feel me? So when you start dropping 30, man, drop all the tracks you wanted. I remember he played good a couple times, like early in the season, he dropped the track. I liked it.
He had a good season overall. He averaged 11, 7, and 7. That's a good season. It was overshadowed by his father.
Laker fan.
It was overshadowed.
Laker fan, man. Maybe if he was in Lithuania, I don't know, man. But this is what you think Jack Nicholson front row seats is looking at 11, 7, and 7 after been watching Kobe for years.
Kobe didn't average that his first season.
Man, they went from watching greatness to a nigga with a broken jump shot who making
That's why we gotta stop covering him.
Who making diss tracks in the goddamn timeout huddles.
Chops, this is the
Get
last
outta
time,
here.
Chops. Look at me, Chops, in the camera. This is the last time you cover Lonzo Ball for rap.
However, if Bron goes to the Lakers next year, I would love for Bron
Ship him out of here. Ship Lonzo out of here.
Nah, keep him, and I want to hear Bron on the track.
No, you're never gonna hear.
I want him dissing Kyrie. No lie.
Well, LeBron ain't got no time.
Diss Kyrie and KD. Okay?
Nah, you're not gonna diss KD, man.
All right, man. All right.
KD
As I said, listen, I'm all down for basketball players rapping, but only when you're winning. Other than that, man, shut the fuck up and be in the gym.
The
But you
gospel by
winning,
Akademiks.
he's getting money, right? Isn't that winning?
That's not winning, nigga. You better win on the court. You feel me?
Heard you.
That's it.
Academic.
I'm sorry, Wayno.
You're a pro athlete. Like, Tom Brady could do whatever he want. Like, he could be like a...
Tom Brady could release a country album.
Yeah.
Yes.
He should release.
Tom Brady could
He should release a country album.
Tom
be
Brady could
hilarious.
be a goddamn
Genius idea.
gigolo or a go-go dancer on the side. We don't care as long as he's
Go-go
winning.
dancer.
Yeah, you can do what he want.
Oh,
but when you're
man.
losing, we only want to know that you're, you know what Allen Iverson said? Practice. That's all we want you to know you're doing, bro.
Patricia
Practice.
Thompson, he lost. So
All right. Well, Ak, are you showing up to practice tomorrow morning or?
yeah,
What's practice?
the green room.
I show up to the game.
You show up to the
We talking about practice?
All right, y'all.
Practice?
That's our show for today.
Not the game.
Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. You
Yeah,
never know
hopefully.
here
Nah,
at
nah,
Everyday
we're back,
Struggle.
man. Come on, man.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.